Gotta get some batteries. I feel like I can't tell you how many times I keep running out of batteries for these mics. These are the good ones. This is welcome to downtown. They have to lock it over here. But I just rip it. I'm buying it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Best time in the morning here. Nobody's here. It's nice and quiet. There's like a little jazz music going on. Let's do this video. My toy bike over here. A couple people actually, a couple only, don't even know what it is, and they've tried to tell me, and I'm like, listen, bro. The real recognize real. You either got it or you don't. You know, they don't. Not everybody knows about this. This is a '90s thing, '80s, '90s thing. So finally putting the batteries. This is the mics that we use. So I'm gonna set up the lights outside so that the video is not completely dark. And what I'm gonna be going over today are the new watches that got released. I probably should have released that last week, but you guys have no idea how many very important things in the personal matters of life I had to do last week. So better late than never. That's about it. I'm gonna wear this. Let's do it with this right here. I want to cover this watch too. So, oh yeah, the mics. All right, so let's get into these Rolexes. Look, on one hand, I want to say that I'm disappointed because I don't know how many out there can be like, oh my God, the releases were amazing. That's not simply true. But at the same time, it's like, how many more models can they possibly come out with? Like, can you understand the pressure that they're under right now? And I said this the last couple of, reactions to the new watches or Rolex for 2021 or the previous year or whatnot is, could you imagine the pressure that they are to every year come out with a new watch, where previously, many years ago, this wasn't really like that. It wasn't like they came out with new models every year or variations or whatnot. So I don't know if the well is running dry. Of course, they're not stupid. They don't have to develop an entire new model. They just switch dials around and play around with them. So look, the first watch that initially caught my attention was the Daytona with the meteorite dial. I said, awesome. I mean, who does not like the previous version that had, the red details on the dial and stuff like that? I mean, that was a banger. The meteorite dial on the Daytona was always a banger. That thing looked amazing. So of course, if the first one that I saw was actually the new Oyster Flex with the black subdials and white gold, I said, that's a win. It's easy. It's a nice variation. Very nice. Then obviously you got the all gold ones, with the metal bands. Listen, that's a great model. No one's ever going to hate on that. I mean, how can you hate on a meteorite dial on a Daytona? I would personally say, I haven't seen them all in person, but I think that my favorite one is going to be either the yellow or the white gold. We still got to see them in person, so that's still under review. The next watch I want to talk about is the Two-Tone Explorer. Look, guys, I feel that they kind of did the Explorer dirty this year. Like, this whole hype and this build of, the anniversary of the Explorer and the expedition to Mount Everest, and they come out with a Two-Tone Explorer 1. I guess, personally, if you wanted to go there, I think they should have just came out with an all-gold Explorer 1. That might have been a bit more fitting for an anniversary. I think the green dial would have been a bit repetitive and redundant, but I don't know. I'm not really crazy about it. And then, it's sure it'll do good. It's a nice watch. Any of you like it. The problem is, what I'm talking about is the expectations. they hype up the 50th anniversary. Everybody's thinking, oh my God, you know, what's going to happen? Here you guys go. Here's a two-tone Explorer 1. I'm like, okay. They could have just done that for no reason mid-year. Not made a big deal about it. But whatever. Explorer 2. Look, I had said even in my prediction that I thought maybe they'd come out with a ceramic bezel, and I thought it would be cool. It'd be aesthetically good looking. It'd be better lasting. But I can appreciate the fact that they just kept it old school, you know, with their fitting of how it looks with the steel bezel. I respect that. My only thing is, it just looks the same. Honestly, it looks like the same watch. And other YouTubers out there have said the same thing. And there's just not much of a change. So, like I said, I don't think that they really stunned us with anything, with all the hype of the 50th anniversary or whatever, blah, 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 or whatever it is, you know. So, on to other things. Sky Dweller, Jubilee Band. Yeah, that's a hard no for me. Not that other people might not like that or anything like that. It's just that, look, for me personally, I feel that the Sky Dweller is a big-headed watch. It's thick. Very, you know, a lot of the emphasis is on the head. So for me, that bracelet is a bit more dressy, classic, you know, I don't know. It's just a little bit too dressy and classic to go with such a big head watch. I enjoyed that watch more on the Oyster Flex, the leather, and the Oyster bracelet. I feel like the Jubilee was kind of like, I don't know, I just feel like it was unnecessary. There's no doubt that it's going to sell a lot, and there's no doubt that it's a nice watch for you guys out there that like it. Just for me, I just feel like, did we really need that? Like, was it really necessary? Like, I don't think so. I think the Datejust 41 Jubilee has got perfect proportions. It's a nice watch. I don't know. I mean, we'd have to see it in person, but as of now, even the Blue Dial, I'm like, I'm not feeling it, man. But that's just me and my taste. This is why there's so many different types of models out there. There's people that don't like watches at all. So there is so many different models so that way there is a model that will cater to your liking. And like I've said it before, even if you like a watch that I personally don't like, that's already a win, because I know people that don't like watches at all. And we can't understand those type of people. You know this is true. So what other models did they come out with? Let me think. Let me look at my phone, because I forgot my laptop to freshen up on what were all the different models. Those are pretty much the highlight models that came up. Oh my God, how can I forget? Okay, so we discontinued the Batman. No more Batman. Oh my God, the Batman's gone. We come out with the Batman Jubilee. I mean, I guess it's a nice watch. And then they come out again with Oyster. Like, I think the one part that really completely threw me off guard was the release of the Pepsi in Oyster. Don't get me wrong, guys. I want one for myself. I already decided that I want one of those. I want one of those new Pepsis on the Oyster. But I don't know. It just seems very... wouldn't it have been cooler if maybe we would have just left the Batman where it was and maybe come out with a... You know, what are we waiting for to give us a Coke? Are we never going to go back to a Coke again? I mean, if that's the case, that's fine. But... I don't know. I like more the idea of the Oyster Pepsi more than the re-release of the Oyster Batman. That's the one thing that I just feel like they needed to just let that where it is. There's enough of them out there in the market going. So people are saying it's going to kill the price of the Batman. No, it's not. I don't think so. I don't think there's enough of them to go around, and people really like this watch. Take, for example, the Jubilee prices. Those are not getting killed, and they're still in production. So, yeah, in the GMT department, I really think that what we needed instead of a Batman Oyster was maybe just a regular black new model in Oyster. It's a very good selling watch. You know, there's nothing better than for clients to have an option of a black GMT and a black sub. I mean, I always feel like it's 50-50. Some people either want the look of the sub or the look of a GMT. I'm the type that I kind of like both. So I'm like kind of different with that. Some people will swear by the polished center links of the GMT and tend to gravitate towards more the busier bezel. To me, the biggest news out of this whole Rolex release this year was, well, one, the fact that none of these watches were discontinued. Yes, we all speculated that perhaps these watches were going to be discontinued, or maybe we just all enthusiasts hoped. For me, it doesn't make a difference. I sell watches at market price, so whether they were discontinued or not, everything stays the same. But I thought at least maybe a Daytona Platinum would get discontinued or changed. Maybe they'd change the variation of it and could discontinue that brown bezel version. That's not the case. That's not what happened. Good for them. I think that's great. I think that the number one shocker for me was that from what I have gathered, and nobody really noticed this too much or talked about it, was that the only one thing that I realized was discontinued was my motif dial on the Platinum Day-Date. Unbelievable. They now released the same color dial with platinum Roman numerals and platinum hands, which doesn't look bad. They had a variation like that before when the Day-Date 2 was around. But nobody really picked that up. When I went on the website and saw for myself that I couldn't choose this dial, you could only imagine how happy I got. I'm like, yes, home run. Look, at the end of the day, I bought this watch for me, not thinking about resale value. I bought it with the mentality that if I lost $5,000, I would be okay with that. The fact that this happened made it so much sweeter. And on top of that, just also made it more, more desirable. For all you at home right now that are trying to offer me this watch, they want to now dump it. Yeah, I'm a buyer. Just let's be realistic on the market price. And don't try to sell it to me like I'm a collector. I do this for a living, so I got to sell a watch and make a profit. Rolex also came out with a couple of novelty pieces which were pretty intense. They came, and it's hard to see the pictures. It's hard to find the pictures online because it's so early. They came out with the Yachtmaster 42mm white gold, the big one, with the Oyster Flex strap, with diamond lugs and a full diamond bezel. I kind of like that watch. Also, remember the Eye of the Tiger Daytonas? They came out with a variation with a full yellow gold with gold down the bracelet and everything. Again, that's going to be a heavy retail, heavy gray market price watch. That's going to be a heavy hitter for sure. I think the craziest release that they came out with, and I was looking for it right now on my phone before I did this video, so I don't know if I'll be able to cook up a picture to throw on for you guys to see, but I saw it. Somebody showed it to me, that their AD showed it to them on the catalog, is a full diamond out Sky Dweller. Exactly the same way that there used to be a GMT that had the baguettes down the middle of the bezel. They made a Sky Dweller. That's gonna be a heavy piece, like a real deal heavy hitter from Rolex. I can't wait to see what the retail is gonna be on that. Now, Patek. Let's just talk about the obvious win of this whole thing. I mean, goddamn, I cannot believe that they actually did it. It's like, you actually did it. You actually did it, you son of a bitch. I cannot believe that they actually went there and broke the tradition. And when I say break the tradition, is that Patek is a brand that they try to be so conservative and they try to sit there and just kind of, not give us everything. They could have done this a long time ago. It would have been a very easy play for them. But instead, they just didn't. They held out. I would have never dreamed in a million years that they would have came out with a blue dial 5990. Have I thought about that combination? Yes. Would I have put my bets on that they were going to do it? Absolutely not. It's hard to think how they're going to play this. Is it just going to be so little available that, I don't know, that you just can't get it at all? I really envisioned them to discontinue the 5980, which wouldn't make sense because it's the baddest watch on the block, in my opinion, and, sports model-wise. And they sell so good that there would be no need for it. But I never envisioned them to drop that. So I guess they obviously couldn't drop a 5990 you know, with the black brown dial, it kind of would have been like kind of redundant. The blue dial. Wow. I think the only other twist that would have just blown my mind away is if they would have came out with a yellow gold blue dial. That would have been already like, we're done here, drop the mic, Patek wins again. 5711 green dial. Do I like it? Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I like it. I like the one with the gem set stones and everything. I don't know. I guess I'm just at that point right now where I'm starting to feel. Look, I like that watch. I mean, I want one. That's like the only 5711 I like because I'm not really crazy about the 5711. But I'm starting to feel that we're starting to get a little bit in this corny era with the green. I don't know that. Not that I wouldn't want right now a Daytona green dial. You know, I would take some of those new APs also with the green. But it's just kind of like, oh my God, it's amazing. But it was kind of like, wow, they really stunned me because what they did is that they went with the most non-traditional variations that we would have thought about. And we should have expected this, being that not too long ago, they started dropping Aquanauts with different colored dials, which they usually wouldn't do that. Granted, they were special limited runs, and that is the plan for this 5711. So the real question is going to be, how much are these going to go for? Look, I would say with the 5980 right now costing $230,000 all day, which is crazy, by the way, when you really sit down and process that. I'm sure it's going to be 300, 350. You know, why not? Especially right off the jump when the market first comes out. You know, those 5711s, they're going to be pushing some big bucks. I would say since it's going to be the final edition, which is whatever it's going to be, I would definitely probably say over 200 for a 5711. So, you know, bravo to Patek. They actually gave us something that the people wanted. I would say don't get used to it. That's just not the way they are. I feel like they're very traditional and they are the best at brand preservation. That's what they do. They're not like some of these other brands that dropped this year a complete sapphire watch, including the bracelet and all, because pretty much they have nothing else to do. Seems to be the thing that's going around lately with a lot of different both vendors and brands where they're just running out of ideas. So they're just scraping the bottom of the barrel to just do anything because they're desperate. I've been calling this for about 2 years that green is the new blue. But honestly, when I saw the 5711 in green and the APs that they dropped this year in green, I was just kind of like, man, that's like almost like oversaturation. Don't get me wrong, I love them. I'm just wondering, where do we go from here now? Like, where do we go now? I guess, I don't know. I just don't see what is the new color unless we're just going to start going to all monotone colors, you know, rose on rose dial. I mean, who knows what the next trend is, but we are definitely reaching the peak where I don't know where we're going to go from here. I don't see any other color in horology that can hit as hard as green, blue, and black. I think those are the three best colors. Okay, so AP. I want to talk about the AP watches. They didn't come out at the same time as Rolex and the Pateks did. And these other guys with that clear everything watch. I just think it's getting boring already. But first thing I want to say is we finally have a Royal Oak Chrono with an in-house movement. Some people, believe it or not, didn't notice that. So we finally have a Royal Oak Chrono, clear case back movement with the in-house movement. Thank God. I don't know what they were waiting for that. It took forever. What is that going to say for the prices of the other ones? Nothing. Look at the 15,400 and look at the 15,500. There's only a price gap that's minimal. It's not a big deal. When people sit there and say, oh my God, they're going to the in-house movement, it's going to be worth much more. Can I remind you of the Zenith Daytona? when everybody said that it was going to be no good, and they came out with the new 4130, and oh, we got to buy the Rolex caliber in-house. You guys remember that? You've seen the prices of the Zenith Daytona? So not that that exact thing is going to happen, but the demand is there. People want the watch. When it's slapped on your wrist, nobody can tell what the heck it has because the watch looks the same from the front. You know, that's just the real thing about it. The green dials, I think it was a good play. I personally like, besides the tourbillon with the diamonds, I kind of into some factory diamonds. I kind of like factory diamonds. I'm not into the full iced out, bust down stuff. At least not anymore. The one watch that I do like is the yellow gold green dial Royal Oak. Is it green? Yeah, I believe it's green. I like that watch. I think that's a good watch. It looks nice. It's going to be killer. But the one watch that I do want to pick a bone on is, what's up with this concept tourbillon with the Black Panther? I mean, by all means, I could understand the whole thing behind the Black Panther. I understand all of that. You know, I think it's a very cool homage to Chadwick Boseman. You know, I definitely agree that it's a good thing, but I guess the only part that gets me kind of like weird is like the Marvel comics mixed with AP. Starting to get a little bit like that brand, you know, that brand that I like so much and likes me so much. I just kind of feel like it's, I don't know, man. I feel like it's a little corny. I feel like if it's just this watch, it'll be very special, and I think it's cool. And look, guys, this is not the first time that AP makes a watch inspired by movies. You know, you had the Arnold, you know, the End of Days. Like, you know, these are watches that were inspired by movies too. But I guess I just don't want to see. I'm more like and I'm AP gang, okay? So I'm like terrified to see this whole Marvel Comics lineup where we got the Spider-Man, you know, all the watches there, like the Hulk, you know, like with an actual mini Hulk in there. Like I don't want to see all that. So if we just come out with this one and it just stays there, you know, I think it might be cool. But that's the one thing that, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not crazy about it. But then again, when I see it in person, it might grow on me. You guys know how I feel about the Date 840, and look at it right there. You know, time will do things like that, you know. So
it's like taking the Rolex nicknames for the watches and taking it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, correct. I'm not into that. I'm not into that at all. I don't even care about the Rolex names, you know. I just call it a green sub before. It didn't have to be a Hulk for me. Green sub is more than plenty for me. And granted, those nicknames for all those watches on the Rolex helps with the sales. I'm telling you, it helps. It helps, man. And I feel like the first watches that had those type of names were the APs, when they had like the Safari, the Navy, things like that. I feel like those were the first themed watches that had those nicknames.
It's almost like some of these guys slap a Batman on their wrist, and next thing you know, they're driving around thinking they're Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, man, you never know. It's crazy out there. Guys, there was another brands that came out with watches, and there's some really nice watches that were released out there. Some really, really nice watches from other brands. I'm not going to be going over those right now, but overall, it's a good year in horology. Product is moving. People are, you know, more or less getting back to normal out there. So we look forward to see how the year rolls out and progresses with all these models. And we can only hope to see what they can do for us and come out next year. So anyways, that sums up my reactions to the new watches of Rolex Patek AP release for 2021 Watches and Wonders, whatever you want to call it nowadays, because it's just not really actually a show anymore. It's kind of awkward. So I don't even know what to call it, if it's Watches and Wonders or not. But feel free to comment below what you think. What are your thoughts on these new releases that came out? And if there's any one of those watches that you just have to get, and it's on your grail list right now and you want. Doesn't matter if it's even that two-tone Explorer or that Sky Dweller Jubilee. Just let me know that you want it. I want to see what people want. I want to see how people are feeling about it. And go ahead and like and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe to my new YouTube channel. That's it.
My new and improved.
Yeah. All right, that's it, bro. That's the video.